What's going on, guys? How are you doing today? It's Angry Roleplay. Today I want to show you another build that is on top of the leaderboards for Crusader, and this setup has been viable for quite a while since the Roland has been buffed a couple of patches ago. But right now I believe that this setup might be potentially the #1 if we compare the easiness of the gameplay as well as tankiness and as well as the actual firepower out there. And this is the Blazing Sweeper built using the Roland's Legacy and the fire rune of the sweep attack. It was pretty hilarious, but in December 2016 I made the comparison video between the 3 runes of the sweep attack, the fire, holy and the lightning sweep attack. And back in the day we used only the trip attack as the damage dealer, mainly because we used ancient path and defenders to proc more toughness. But at this point, when the great rift is so high and you need so much firepower, so basically everything just turns into more damage and you're dropping toughness for more damage. And this is when in December 2016 when I did this comparison video and I realized that the fire rune simply does about 25 to 30% more raw damage over any rune, like over holy and over gathering sweep and over trip attack as well. So fire does just more fucking damage, absolutely more. And another thing that has been discovered recently, not so long ago, is that the fire rune actually stacks the damage over time on the enemies, and it basically raises the bar of the damage up to around maybe 50% over the lightning rune. So sweep attack is there for damage, obviously, and people kind of drop the lightning rune completely and just going for damage now, and all you see is the blazing sweep now on the top of the leaderboards. Okay, so I will just explain what exactly changed if you want to transition from the lightning sweeper, or if you're familiar with the sweep attack in general, if you want to transition from the lightning sweep to the fire sweep. First of all, it's pretty much the same skills, and except that we're using blazing sweep as for the sweep attack rune. And also we're using strong arm braces instead of ancient path and defenders, simply because we use the vacuum rune to suck in enemies with the condemn, and we cannot really effectively proc stuns with this setup, so we just need more buffs to this damage, and this is where strong arm braces come in handy. This gives you a 30% buff when enemies take 30% increased damage for 6 seconds when they hit by the knockbacks, and vacuum is our effective knockback here. Also, we drop Thunder God's Vigor for the Witching Hour, and this is the only belt in the game that can, damage wise compare to Thunder God's Vigor, because Thunder God's Vigor has elemental buff and Witching Hour has attack speed and damage there and hit damage there, so it kind of almost the same, identical as Thunder God's Vigor for the lightning, but this can be used for any rune out there. Another thing that had also changed for the build, as I decided to drop Holy Cause for the Wrathful, and there's a reason for that, and one of the main reasons is because of course we didn't use Ancient Path and Defenders, and Ancient Path and Defenders were a huge toughness boost for us when we played Lightning, and without this procs and stun procs on Ancient Path and Defenders and the damage reduction provided, we have to be much more tanky than we, so that in order we can survive the incoming damage for the fire. Fire setup is extremely squishy, and you need as much health, as much damage reduction as possible. We do not have unity. We do not have unity. So basically we're all damaged. So we need as much recovery as possible. Mostly surviving on recovery here as well. So I dropped a Holy Cause. Holy Cause is 10% buff global multiplied to the damage. Is pretty fucking good, but honestly it's not really worth it if you die too much. So Wrathful is extremely powerful, and it also synergizes well with a heal amount increased by 1% of a health glow bonus. So if you have a lot of health glow bonus here, like for example I have on the boots here, so it really helps towards the Wrathful, and basically this is why you are tanky with a fire sweep. That's one of the only reasons out there. As for the rest, it's pretty much the same setup. and it does quite a lot of damage, you know. Assuming it gives around 50% more damage over the lightning, it gives at least, you know, 3 to 5 Great Rifts higher than the lightning sweep. And also click Great Rift 100 with this setup almost on the second attempt, and honestly it was one of the easiest hundreds that I've been experiencing this PTR, one of the easiest if not the easiest, and I believe that a Blazing Sweeper has the potential to be the #1 damage build in the game. The only problem is still the single target, like I said, you know, and for the same reason we're using Unstoppable Force to help off with Wrath management. Still, it's pretty mandatory. You can actually try to go critical here if you have the guts, but against single target, if the boss has no ads, it doesn't spawn minions, you're basically fucked, and you will be wasting a lot of time on the Regarden and the single target as well. So the gems are all the same. I use Bane of the Trapped, Bane of the Stricken, and I also use the Guguk of Swiftness, and potentially you can also use Pain Enhancer for more damage, of course, especially if you have good CDR rolls on your gear. Pain Enhancer simply gives tremendous amount of firepower, tremendous amount of attack speed buffs, and basically you'll reach your highest breakpoint with Pain Enhancer. If you have CDR and have no problem surviving, you can go Pain Enhancer. Also, in the past I used Bane of the Powerful. You know, Bane of the Powerful and Guguk are like two of the best options here for the build. Everything else is pretty the same, and this is it, guys. Thanks for watching. And as for the CDR setting that you need to hit, you know, there's quite a lot of controversy here, because, you know, a lot of people stack area damage and drop CDR. I'm still, you know, a bit of fan of CDR on site. Try stacking CDR where possible, but area damage is extremely strong as well. But you need to remember one thing about area damage. You know, this build is already very powerful for trash melting, and the problem is when you melt trash mobs way too fast, you will have these elites, I know, half-dead elites running around for you across the rift, and basically you may come to a point where you will have an exit to the rift and absolutely no trash mobs to kill that finish that elite, and you will have to basically go to the another level and skip the fucking elite half-dead. This is not the case, and I believe that stacking area damage is not important at all. It will just melt trash way too fast, and I recommend just going to life, you know, some toughness stacks, some attack speed to reach higher breakpoint, just to do raw more damage. So overall, you know, between the CDR and area damage, I think I would recommend a bit of this, or just CDR or attack speed as well. So this is it. For the cube, nothing really changed as well. It's the same shit. And the only reason why I use Furnace here is because my Furnace has attack speed and life on hit here. And you know, Golden Flense should be here instead of the Furnace, because in the current patch they fixed it so that it has restores fixed 6 Wrath, not from 4 to 6, just, you know, fixed 6 Wrath. And it also now has a legendary damage range and can be increased sweep attack damage up to 300%. And another thing that I forgot to say is that our Denial has also been buffed around 4 times, and it can deal up to 125% increase sweep attack and stack up to 5 times. So that's a fuck ton of damage increase for the sweep attack, guys. So you should be using Golden Flense here and cube the Furnace here instead, because Furnace has very slow attack speed base. It's the no maces are one of the slowest shit in the game, and Flense has much higher attack speed base. You can see it does 1.15 attacks per second, and the mace has 1.6 attacks per second. So you should just, you know, farm for a very good Golden Flense and just cube the Furnace then. So this is it. The role that should be having on your weapon is, of course, attack speed and life on hit, or life per rev cost here as well. Everything else is absolutely identical to the old build, so I wouldn't really go deep here into the specs here. You just, guys, watch the old Lightning Sweeper build, and it's absolutely the same. And also a couple of words about Lightning Sweeper, as it's not shit now, it's still viable, just very tanky, very solid build, also buffed as well of course, but slightly weaker than their fire spec now. So this is it, thanks for watching guys, and see you soon.